Good Monday morning, everybody. The time is 7:42. I'm Steph Simmons, your traffic anchor with H-Town Rush. If you are just joining us on all our social media platforms, we want to say very good morning. And unfortunately, we've got traffic trouble in East Harris County. So let's set the stage for you and just give you a recap of kind of what's happening and where we go from there as far as alternate routes. So if you remember, overnight hours from Thursday into last Friday, we had some loose barges that struck the overpass of I-10 and the San Jacinto River there in East Harris County. This has been an infamous trouble spot. Last time something like this happened in February, we had issues for months. This is unfortunately far worse than what we saw earlier in the year. So as dive teams are assessing the damage and trying to get us information as they get it, we do not have a timetable for you at this point as to when anything will reopen. What they think they might be able to do as far as a solution, we don't know in weeks to come, but they may reopen the one side of the freeway that is less damaged and let traffic go eastbound and westbound, essentially share that one eastbound side. But they haven't given that a green light yet, and we don't know when that will happen. Now, taking a look at, Brandon, what are we seeing here? We seeing Air 11 pictures?
Yes, this is from our chopper Air 11, just looking at backups.
And this is on 90?
Yes.
On Highway 90? Okay, so one of the things that you can do, and I have to be honest with you, it's not gonna be a fun way around it. You can go north and you can take 90 through Barrett and go all the way around there. But we did have Samantha, one of our viewers, reach out to us on Facebook, and she was saying that a drive on 90 that would normally take 20 minutes took her an hour, and that was about an hour ago. So as we push through rush hour, it's only gonna get worse. So Air 11 is showing us those pictures of traffic. 90 isn't normally that bad at all, especially going eastbound in the morning. Now, we usually struggle with a bit of refinery traffic on one of the other alternate routes, which is the LaPorte Freeway, because it can get kind of hectic through Pasadena Avenue to Red Bluff, because we used to have like a long-term construction project there, and it kind of thins out in that area anyway, people trying to get to and from the Beltway. But that is the only other alternate route option for you. So it's solid red on 225 as well. You want to take that over to the Fred Hartman Bridge. I checked on our cameras using Houston Transtar cameras, which you can also see on their app as well. It was not even moving going to and from. So at least it's open and we have no accidents on any of those alternate routes. But I do have a little bit of good news to share as I'm flooding you, inundated you on your Monday morning with all this bad news. There is some good news. So the East Beltway, to get easier access to and from those alternate routes, they have waived the tolls by the ship channel. And that was just confirmed to us on Twitter by the Houston, or the Harris County Transit Authority. So that is a little bit of good news to share with you. Now, I know that you guys have a lot of questions. If you can reach out to us on our Facebook page or reach out to me on Twitter at StephKHOU, I'm happy to answer anything that you may, any questions, any burning questions you may have. But as we take a look at Air 11, I mean, it's safe to say 90's not moving very fast there. And as I mentioned before, February was the last time we had something involving your I-10 and structural damage over the San Jacinto River. Now, that's also been an infamous spot for really bad crashes where they have to shut down those lanes. And the issue is there's not a frontage road there, obviously, because we have a body of water. So when you're dealing with that, there's a long way around it. But I do also want to share some good news that the Lynchburg Ferry has just reopened as of a few minutes ago, and that had been shut down for the same reason. So that is a good way that you can go as well for people that do use the Lynchburg Ferry. They haven't been able to do so all weekend. Brandon, do we have any questions coming at us on Facebook? Anything like that?
So far, people are really just asking if we know how long this is going to be closed down, and we just don't right now. Yeah,
we really don't. Adam Bennett was live there for us this morning, talking to authorities, getting all the information that he could, and they just aren't ready to give us an answer because they are still assessing the damage. And Wiley, I'm talking to our executive producer off to the side here. They're using sonar equipment, right? Yep. And that's going to be going on today. A dive team is using a sonar system to sort of assess the damage and look at how bad it is. But once this crash happened, they were already able to tell us, in comparison to February's crash, that it's much worse.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people talking about the barge company and asking why the barge companies are allowed to continue to keep their barges, so close to the bridge when this kind of thing has happened.
Okay.
One of the other things I'm seeing is people are. One of the other things I'm seeing is there are people, in our live feed in the Facebook group right now talking about how they're stuck in this mess on their phones. There's nothing for them to do. And then, go ahead.
Folks, if you can safely, and that is the most important thing, safely take a photo and tag us at H-Town Rush. We are happy to use any images that you may have on air and retweet them as well, so that it can get the word out to the greater public as well, and we can give you credit for that, but only if you can do it safely. We would never ask for anything if you're driving and aren't able to do so.
Yeah, Bridget says the Beltway is now starting to back up too, and we know what happens with these things in Houston. Everything's connected, so they start to spread out.
Creates this sort of ripple effect, but once again, the Beltway by the ship channel is waiving fees because they are well aware of the frustration that that people are having trying to reach these alternate routes. And the sad thing is too, people may even be from here, but they never have take 225 or take 90. They don't know where they're going. It's incredibly frustrating. So they're looking down at their phone. It just makes for a nightmare kind of a morning, especially starting your work week off like this. But I will tell you, please heed this advice and plan on taking your alternate routes, whether you choose 90 or 225 or Fred Hartman, taking them until further notice. Because as we said, they are still assessing the kind of damage that they have ahead of them, and then they need to secondary start that repair work.
Steph, if you're looking at the feed, you can see them starting, the Air 11 is showing sort of where the backup begins, and we've been watching them pan all the way back over the length of this delay, and I think the chopper pilot estimated it was maybe 5 or 6 miles long.
On 90?
I think it's on 90, yeah. And this is a stretch of road that normally this time of day, would be pretty sparse, even this time.
It's wide open.
Yeah.
A lot of people live in the Crosby area or Sheldon, but they're going inbound. So a lot of people use I-10 both ways in East Harris County. But it appears that the majority of the people need to go eastbound this morning because 225 is also just a nightmare.
Yeah, it looks like our producer Brandon may be able to bring up the, I don't know if it's possible, Brandon, when you get those supers fixed, to bring up the maps itself to just see what it looks like, the amount of red on the maps at this. So I mean, look at this time right now, Steph, on the maps. It's pretty bad for this time of day.
Whenever you see red on our maps, what that indicates is a speed of 24 miles an hour to 0 miles an hour. And we have several cameras on 225, and I can run those through for you and snap out pictures on Twitter in just a little bit here. We don't have a ton of cameras on 90, and that's why Air 11 is showing you that live look right now. But again, it is just usually wide open and as quiet as can be, and having been doing traffic for almost a year now, I can tell you we go months and months on end without having any accidents on 90 in the morning. And when you just add thousands more drivers, it's going to get real hairy.
Yeah, one of the things we saw earlier from Crosby ISD was tweeting out that their school buses are delayed even because of this. So, I mean, they're stuck in it just like everybody else.
It's a ripple effect on the freeways and neighboring surface streets, and then it's going to take a toll on all of the businesses and schools in the area as well. Just people aren't used to that. 90 and 225 could be your everyday route, and you're going to be joined by a lot more people. Yeah. And we just don't see an end in sight right now. I do have to jump off. If you're listening to us, I have to go down in our studio and do a cut-in real quick, but we'll be back. And again, Steph, Khou, Steph, Khou. Please tweet me with any of your questions, or continue to ask us some questions on Facebook, and I can jump back on in a little bit and answer anything that you may need. For now, you can join us on air in about 5 minutes. We'll see you then.